You want results. You want them fast. You want to wake up tomorrow and suddenly be disciplined, focused, unstoppable. But here is what Carl Jung understood that most motivational speakers will never tell you. The habits that actually transform your life are not the ones that feel powerful. They are the ones that feel almost invisible. They are small. They are quiet. They work beneath the surface of your awareness, rewiring how you relate to yourself, how you process reality, how you show up when no one is watching. And if you think 10 times your results sounds impossible, you have been measuring the wrong things. Jung did not care about productivity hacks. He cared about psychological integration. And when you integrate, when you stop leaking energy into unconscious patterns, when you reclaim the power you have been projecting onto circumstances and other people, everything accelerates. Not because you are doing more, because you are no longer sabotaging yourself. Let me be clear. This is not about adding more to your plate. This is not about waking up at 4 in the morning or cold plunging or journaling for 3 hours. Those things might work for some people, but Jung was after something deeper. He was after the habits that shift your internal operating system. The habits that make you stop reacting and start responding. The habits that turn you from someone who is controlled by their emotions into someone who can hold their emotions without being consumed by them. That is where the real multiplier effect happens. That is where 10 times your results stops being hype and starts being inevitable. So let me walk you through 10 small Jungian habits that will change everything. Not because I said so, because psychology said so, because the unconscious mind said so, because every person who has ever achieved sustainable success, whether they knew Jung or not, was practicing some version of these principles. And the best part? You can start today, right now, without permission, without a perfect plan, just one habit at a time. Habit number 1, notice when you are projecting instead of observing. You look at someone who is confident and you think they are arrogant. You see someone who sets boundaries and you think they are cold. You watch someone pursue their ambition and you think they are selfish. Sound familiar? Jung called this projection, and it is killing your results. Because every time you judge someone else, you are actually revealing what you have disowned in yourself. You have rejected confidence, so you see arrogance. You have rejected boundary setting, so you see coldness. You have rejected ambition, so you see selfishness. And as long as you are projecting, you cannot integrate. You cannot reclaim the energy that is trapped in judgment. Here is the habit. Every time you feel strong emotion towards someone, pause and ask yourself, what am I seeing in them that I refuse to see in myself? This is not comfortable, but it is powerful. Because the moment you stop projecting, you start growing. Try it today. Pick one person who irritates you and get curious instead of critical. What are they showing you about your own shadow? Habit number 2. Sit with discomfort for 5 minutes without fixing it. Most people cannot do this. They feel anxiety and immediately reach for their phone. They feel boredom and turn on a podcast. They feel sadness and start scrolling. We live in a world that has trained us to eliminate discomfort the second it appears. But Jung understood that discomfort is information. It is your unconscious trying to communicate. And when you constantly distract yourself, you miss the message. You stay stuck in the same patterns because you never give yourself the space to see what is actually driving them. The habit is simple but not easy. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Sit. Feel whatever is present. Do not analyze it. Do not fix it. Just be with it. You will be shocked at what surfaces when you stop running. Maybe it is grief you have been avoiding. Maybe it is anger you have been suppressing. Maybe it is fear you have been covering with productivity. Whatever it has been controlling you from the shadows. And now you are bringing it into the light. This one habit alone can 10 times your emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is the foundation of every other result you want. Habit number 3. Speak one truth you have been avoiding every day. Not a brutal truth. Not a reckless truth. But a truth that you have been holding back because you are afraid of how it will be received. Maybe you need to tell your boss that the project timeline is unrealistic. Maybe you need to tell your partner that you need more space. Maybe you need to tell yourself that you are not actually happy with the path you are on. Jung said that the shadow grows in silence. Every time you swallow your truth to keep the peace, you feed the shadow, you make it stronger. And eventually it will come out sideways, as passive aggression, as resentment, as a sudden explosion that damages the relationship you are trying to protect. The habit is this: identify one truth you have been avoiding, not the biggest, scariest one. Start small and say it out loud, today, to yourself or to someone else. Notice what happens. Notice that the world does not end. Notice that people can actually handle your honesty more than you think, and notice how much energy you reclaim when you stop using it to suppress who you actually are. Habit number 4, catch yourself performing and choose authenticity instead. You are in a meeting and you say what you think people want to hear instead of what you actually think. You are at a party and you laugh at a joke that is not funny because everyone else is laughing. You post something on social media not because it is true, but because it will get likes. We all perform. Jung called this the persona. It is the mask you wear to navigate social reality, and it is necessary. But when the mask becomes your identity, you lose access to everything real. You lose access to your instincts, your desires, your genuine creativity. And without those, your results will always be limited, because you are not creating from your center. You are creating from what you think will be acceptable. The habit is to catch the performance in real time. Notice when you are about to say something that is not true just to fit in. Pause and make a different choice. You do not have to be confrontational. You do not have to overshare. Just stop abandoning yourself for approval. Do this once a day and watch how quickly people start responding to you differently. Because authenticity is magnetic. People feel it even when they cannot name it. Habit number 5, own your ambition out loud. So many people have cast their desires into the shadow. They want more money, but they are afraid to say it because they do not want to seem greedy. They want recognition, but they downplay their achievements because they do not want to seem arrogant. They want success, but they minimize their goals because they do not want to seem entitled. And all of this shadow casting creates a life of quiet resentment. You achieve less than you are capable of because you are too afraid to claim what you actually want. Jung understood that individuation requires integrating opposites. You cannot become whole by only developing your selfless side. You need to integrate the selfish side too, the ambitious side, the part that wants and demands and takes up space. The habit is simple. Say your ambition out loud, to a friend, to yourself, to the mirror. I want to make $1 million. I want to be recognized in my field. I want to build something that lasts. Do not apologize, do not qualify, just own it. And watch how that changes your actions. Because when you stop hiding your ambition, you stop sabotaging it. Habit number 6. Process one emotion fully before moving to the next task. You get a frustrating email and immediately jump into the next meeting. You have a difficult conversation and then sit down to work on a project. You feel disappointment and push it aside because there is no time to deal with it. This is how most people operate, and it is why most people feel exhausted even when they are not physically tired. Because emotional energy does not disappear when you ignore it. It accumulates. It becomes background noise that drains you without you realizing it. Jung believed that unprocessed emotion becomes symptom. It becomes anxiety. It becomes compulsion. It becomes the invisible weight you carry everywhere. The habit is this: when you feel something, give it 60 seconds. Feel it fully. Name it if you can: angry, sad, disappointed, afraid. And then let it move through you. Do not analyze it. Do not fix it. Just feel it. This is not indulgent. This is psychological hygiene, and it will 10 times your mental clarity because you will stop carrying yesterday's emotions into today's decisions. Habit number 7. Identify one area where you are trying to control the uncontrollable and let it go. You are micromanaging a project because you are afraid it will fail without your constant oversight. You are obsessing over someone's opinion of you because you need them to see you a certain way. You are trying to plan every detail of your future because uncertainty feels unbearable. Control is a shadow emotion. It is how the ego protects itself from feeling powerless. And it is exhausting because you cannot actually control most things. You can influence them, you can prepare for them, but you cannot control them. And every ounce of energy you spend trying to control the uncontrollable is energy you are not spending on what you can actually influence. The habit is to identify one thing you are trying to control and consciously release it. Say it out loud: I cannot control this. I can only control my response to it, and then redirect your energy. This does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop exhausting yourself fighting reality. And that freed up energy. That is what 10 times your results, because now you are focused on leverage instead of anxiety. Habit number 8, spend 10 minutes a day in solitude without distraction. No phone, no music, no podcast, just you and your thoughts. Most people are terrified of this. They fill every moment with noise because silence feels like emptiness. But Jung understood that solitude is where integration happens. It is where you process your experience. It is where you distinguish between what you actually want and what you have been conditioned to want. It is where you reconnect with your inner authority instead of constantly looking outside yourself for direction. The habit is non-negotiable. 10 minutes every day. Sit. Breathe. Let your mind wander. Do not meditate unless you want to. Just be present with yourself. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your brain will offer you 1,000 reasons why you do not have time for this. Ignore them, because those 10 minutes will give you more clarity than 10 hours of consuming other people's content. This is where your real ideas come from. This is where your intuition speaks. And if you are serious about 10 times your results, you need to hear it. Habit number 9. Notice when you use busyness to avoid feeling and stop. You fill your calendar. You say yes to everything. You create urgency where there is none. And beneath all of it, there is something you are running from. Maybe it is fear that you are not enough. Maybe it is grief you have not processed. Maybe it is the realization that your current path is not aligned with who you actually are. Busyness is a socially acceptable form of avoidance, and it is keeping you stuck, because you cannot outrun your unconscious. Jung said that what you do not bring into consciousness comes to you as fate. It will show up as burnout, as illness, as crisis. The habit is to catch yourself when you are about to fill time just to avoid sitting still. Pause, ask yourself, what am I avoiding right now? And then do the opposite, sit with it, feel it, let it surface. This takes courage. But it is the only way out, because you cannot integrate what you refuse to acknowledge. Habit number 10, end your day by asking what you learned about yourself instead of what you accomplished. Most people measure their day by their output. How many tasks did I complete? How many emails did I send? How productive was I? And there is nothing wrong with that. But if that is the only metric, you miss the deeper work. You miss the moments when you noticed a pattern, when you caught yourself projecting, when you chose authenticity over performance, when you sat with discomfort instead of distracting from it. Jung believed that individuation is the real work of life. And individuation is not about what you produce. It is about who you become. The habit is simple. Before you go to sleep, ask yourself, what did I learn about myself today? Write it down if you want. Or just sit with the question. This shifts your focus from external validation to internal growth. And internal growth is the foundation of every external result you want. Because when you know yourself, when you are integrated, when you stop leaking energy into unconscious patterns, you become unstoppable. Not because you are perfect, because you are whole. These 10 habits are not impressive. They do not look like much on paper. But Jung did not care about looking impressive. He cared about what actually works in the psyche. And what works is small, consistent, daily choices that bring the unconscious into consciousness. That integrate the shadow instead of repressing it. That build internal authority instead of external dependence. You do not need all 10 at once. Pick one, start today, and watch what happens, not overnight, but over time. Because that is how real transformation works. Not in dramatic breakthroughs, but in small, invisible shifts that compound into results you cannot ignore. 10 times your results is not about doing 10 times more work. It is about eliminating the internal friction that has been holding you back. And these habits eliminate that friction, one choice at a time, one day at a time, until you look back and realize you are no longer the person you were. You are someone who shows up, someone who takes ownership, someone who does not need permission or perfect conditions to create the life they actually want. That is the real 10 times result, and it starts right now.